Welcome back to my channel. We've got a super fun day today. We are reviewing the Whoop and the Oura Ring. Let's just jump right into it. Little table of contents for you. I think how I'm gonna start this, and let me just preface, I'm not a cynic. I do not focus on the negatives, but I know that y'all wanna know the negatives, so we're gonna start with the negatives. We're gonna go to the positives, and then we're gonna go into whether or not you really need these two items. I don't think that fitness should be expensive or inaccessible, so our conversation here is always about whether you need these items or whether you just want them. So we are going to get to the bottom of that by the end of this episode. I've been a Whoop user for probably like 3 years, so I'm hoping this isn't too biased. I've only been using the Oura Ring for about 3 weeks, but let's jump right into my cons of the Whoop, because I do have a pretty extensive background with it. And there are just a few things about it that drive me absolutely crazy. So first off, if you didn't know, Whoop and Oura Ring are both fitness trackers. They're both pretty minimal in terms of they're not gonna give you notifications of your text messages. They're not gonna tell you the time, right? Obviously, this is a ring, like it's not gonna do that. But they do pretty amazing sleep tracking, and they do some pretty cool stuff with fitness tracking as well. So we'll be discussing kind of whether we think the fitness tracking is reliable, whether we think the sleep tracking is reliable, and what each of these different products do well and poorly. Like I said, I've been a Whoop user for probably about 2 or 3 years now, and the band in this generation, this is the 3rd generation, is so much better than the last generation. Without a doubt, the other band used to like kind of come off sideways here all the time, and it used to like slip off your wrist. This is garbage, right? So they updated the band, and that's been a game changer. They also put a ton of different colors. My issue with the band is that they say that it's all waterproof and that you can wear it in the shower, then you never have to take off your Whoop. That's not true. If you do that for like 3 weeks, you wear your Whoop in the shower. If you're a sweaty person in your workouts, your Whoop is gonna smell like shit. And so I think that this is one of the biggest things that Whoop really needs to improve. If they want the Whoop to be fully waterproof, the bands need to do a better job of that. 3 weeks of getting your Whoop wet pretty consistently is gonna give you that mildewy smell that you really can't get out no matter how many times you wash it. So that's my biggest negative of the Whoop. Once I have those 3 weeks of wearing it, I stop wearing it because it smells so bad and I'm not interested in just like carrying around a smelly thing on my wrist, right? Number 2, the battery life is good, but not great. I would say the battery life is between 4 and 5 hours. And then you put on, where is it? 1 second. Then you put on the battery pack that slides right on. The battery pack is not waterproof. And I know this doesn't seem like it's a big deal. I never remember to charge my Whoop. I will leave this on for too long, and then I'll like go to wash my hands and I'll get this wet. And if this were waterproof, it would be a game changer. Number 3, and maybe one of the most important things about the Whoop that is just not good, is that when you do any kind of kettlebell work, if you're going into a front rack and your kettlebell is supposed to be on your wrist there, you can't wear the Whoop. It just like destroys your wrist. Also, if you're wearing any kind of grips for gymnastics or for CrossFit, you have to move your Whoop around, which is gonna skew your numbers a little bit. So that's one thing. If maybe you're doing a lot of kettlebell work, you can try putting it around your bicep. I did that for a while, and they have a specific bicep strap for that. Unclear if the numbers are going to be more or less accurate. Whoop says that they're more accurate. Who's to say? My 4th con with the Whoop is that the strain, let me back up. You have a sleep score, you have a strain score, and then you have a recovery score. So your sleep is how good your sleep was, your strain is how much you worked that day, and then your recovery is kind of that combination of did you get enough sleep, how hard did you work yesterday, that's how recovered you are today. And it takes a couple of different factors into account, like your resting heart rate, your HRV, but when we look at strain, the strain measurement is super off when it comes to cardio exercises. If I go for an hour run, it will count that as a huge strain event, even if it's actually a very easy run for me, comparatively to an hour CrossFit class that I killed myself in, and it'll say that that's like a very low strain. And if we're looking to use this as a tool to be able to tell us how well recovered we are or how much we're working throughout the day, it's not good if all of the cardio exercises are super high up on the strain level and all of the HIIT or strength workouts are very low on the strain level. This is a big deal, right? I don't know how they haven't figured out that cardio exercises are just so much more strain than strength or HIIT, even though they're burning similar calories or the energy required is similar. It just doesn't really make sense to me, but this is a big problem. And then lastly, I know that Whoop is all about no distractions. That's why there isn't a screen on here, and that's kind of okay. I don't need notifications. I don't need, you know, fancy Apple Watch shit, right? What I do need is a clock and a stopwatch. There's no reason why I should be wearing something on my wrist and I don't have a stopwatch for me to time my planks with. It would be so simple, and Whoop refuses to do it, and it drives me crazy. Okay, moving into the Oura Ring. The absolute worst thing about the Oura Ring is that you cannot work out with it on. The goal of it is to track your sleep and to track your workouts, right? And that would be fine if all of your workouts were just running or cardio or walking, right? But if you're going to handle a dumbbell or a barbell or a pull-up bar or anything like that, you cannot wear this ring. One, I'm afraid that I'm gonna break the ring. Two, I'm more afraid that I'm going to break my hand. There's this disgusting word called degloving, where someone's wearing a ring when they're weightlifting and then they drop the weight and the ring pulls the skin off of their finger. You can't wear metal rings when you're doing any kind of weightlifting. So virtually all of my workouts that I've been tracking over the past 3 weeks haven't been tracked by Oura Ring. And that is a big part of the reason why I'm wearing it. That's not good. Number two, I'm sure that if I wear this ring for another week, I'm gonna lose it. I take it off when I'm doing dishes, I take it off when I have to like put hair product on, right? And because it's so small, I'm going to lose it. And I have these like days at a time where I just forgot to put it back on. And I'm like, well, there's the data for that day. I meant to compare my data between the Whoop and the Oura, but I missed it today because I took it off when I was washing dishes and I forgot to put it back on, and I'm not really sure where it is. It's so funny that the Oura Ring, and is actually number 3, is a little too bulky to be a ring, but a little too small for me to be taking it off and putting it back on all the time because I'm going to lose it. Number 4, it is expensive. $300 up front is not cheap, and this is a pro and a con kind of, but if you don't have that cash available, then you're not gonna be able to get the Oura Ring. And lastly, the Oura Ring app is really beautiful. I had a really great first impression of it, but it's really difficult to understand and use. I won't say really difficult, it just took me quite a bit more fiddling with it for me to understand what the metrics were saying to me. So take that with a grain of salt. I'm exhausted. I hate being negative, but y'all needed to know the negatives of these two things, okay? So let's turn it around. Let's go into some positives. I'm going crazy, wow. Wait, before I jump into the positives, really quick, 2 negatives about both of them. They want to tell us how recovered we are and how much strain we're putting on our body from workouts, right? But in both of these scenarios, I've had to take off my Whoop during workouts, or I've definitely had to take off my Oura Ring during workouts. And if we don't have this complete picture of the work that we are doing throughout the day, how are we supposed to get any kind of accurate score of how recovered we are? That's not good. Lastly, I wouldn't wear either of these long term. I know I've had my Whoop for a really long time, but I go through phases of going in and out of it. And I would say that it's really important to track these sleep scores, maybe even some of these strain scores for a couple of weeks. But after that, the numbers are very similar and it's not really interesting anymore. I'm not learning anything new. I'm not able to change any new habits. So I would say that a con is that neither of these are particularly long-term for me. Okay, now we will actually go into the pros of these fitness gadgets. For the Whoop, I love that there are groups. In the app, you can join a group of friends who all have Whoops and you can see your strain scores and you can make it a little competition. That's great. The issue with that is that, again, if I do a run in the morning and my strain score is super high comparatively to my friend who did CrossFit class, that doesn't really make sense, right? So we gotta figure that out. Number 2, when you wake up in the morning, Whoop will tell you what your sleep score is, and it'll also ask you some habits that you can actually customize for yourself. So it'll ask me, did you drink alcohol last night? Because it's really interesting to see how alcohol can affect your sleep. It will ask you different questions about if you have COVID-19 symptoms. It will ask you questions about if you slept in the same bed as your partner. Any of these questions that could affect your sleep or could affect your workouts or your recovery, right? So that's really interesting, and I think it's a really good way for us to be able to track our habits. This pro might be because I've been using it for so long, but the Whoop app is really easy to use. I think it's really user-friendly. I think that it's conducive to those 3 tracking measurements of sleep, strain, and recovery. And they keep on adding little things, which I think is good, but they're keeping it pretty simple for new Whoop members. And I think that is a really good positive. And then lastly, for my positives of the Whoop, you can customize these bands, which is really fun. They're definitely not cheap, right? But it does make it so that you can, switch out the bands. And if you switch them out regularly enough, hopefully that will make it a little bit long-term so that they don't get disgusting. Okay, pros of the Oura Ring. This, while it is a little bit bigger than a ring that I would actually wear, is pretty unobtrusive, right? If I were to wear this to a fancy dinner, I wouldn't think twice, no one would care, right? You cannot make this look fancy. I know that people want to make Apple Watches seem like they can be at like a black tie event. Absolutely not. You cannot wear this to a black tie event. No. So at least the Oura Ring, you'd be able to keep that on throughout any of your social circumstances, because the Whoop is just, do not do it. I know I said that it was a con that the Oura Ring is $300, but honestly, it not being on a subscription model like Whoop is a pro. I've spent more than $300 on Whoop and probably not used that time. So we know that we're gonna be spending less money overall by not being on a subscription service. So I actually think that's actually a pro of the Oura Ring, is not having a subscription and just having an upfront fee. And lastly, I was looking for some research where they were tracking the Whoop data, and I wasn't able to find any really solid research from a third party. And to be honest, I wasn't able to find a third-party research paper on Oura Ring either, but Oura Ring did publish their own research paper where they found that heart rate and HRV were like 99 and 98% as accurate as an electrocardiogram. And this information was then published in the New York Times, and I'm assuming that the New York Times fact-checked it. So that was good to see that the tracking on the Oura Ring is pretty accurate. And I believe that the Whoop is pretty accurate too, because they're in a lot of pop media right now. And if they were putting out numbers that were inaccurate, I think they would get absolutely dragged for it. So we can safely assume that both of these are really top of the line when it comes to accuracy in tracking. Okay, so those are the pros and cons. So really quickly, I just want to go into my Whoop and my Oura Ring data and kind of describe to you a little bit of what I am looking at on a day-to-day basis. Maybe we'll see if they are accurate next to each other. So starting with my Whoop app, I'm going to look at my day yesterday, starting with my sleep. It says that I got 7.5 hours of sleep, 9 hours in bed. Wow, what a great day. And then I got about 2 hours and 16 minutes of REM sleep and 2 hours of deep sleep. So that's great. It says that I had 15 disturbances. You can see 2 big peaks there. Both of those were me taking Meryl out to go to the bathroom. Okay, that's interesting. So now let's go over to Oura Ring. And we'll go to yesterday's sleep. It said I got 7 hours and 54 minutes of sleep, so that's pretty close, and then 9 hours and 6 minutes in bed. These are, I would say, very similar numbers. If we look at deep sleep, it said I got an hour 47, and for REM sleep, it said I got an hour 55. So these numbers are a little different. And if we were to look at HRV, I have 58 HRV for Oura Ring. Let's see what I had for Whoop. I said that it's easy to use the app on Whoop, but I can't remember. Oh yeah, okay, so 64, 58. So that's really interesting. The HRV on both of these were the same, which is a good sign. 58 on Saturday, 70 today. Let's see what my HRV is for today, if it will give it to me. I didn't put it on last night because I forgot about it. Nope, doesn't say. You know, I think looking at this app for Oura Ring, again, like I said, it's really beautiful. I can look at like my readiness score, and then I can drag this along here and I can see my readiness score for the past couple weeks. It's helpful. I don't know about the long-term usage. For Whoop, it's the same thing. I can look at my HRV or my recovery for the past couple of days. And my big question here is like, do I need an app to tell me if I'm recovered? I know for sleep, it's a good thing for me to say like, oh, if I turn off screens 30 minutes before bed, I see that my deep sleep increases by 30 minutes every night. That's huge, and that's gonna be a big motivator for changing my habits. But if I see, wow, I've had 2 really hard workouts in a row and my recovery score is low, it's like, okay, well, I also just knew my body was exhausted and I shouldn't work out the next day, right? Or if the opposite happens, if I have 2 really hard workouts and my recovery score is 98, and I'm like, I don't really think I should work out today. I'm so sore and I don't think that that's the right thing to do. And I think that maybe we need to listen to our bodies a little bit more rather than listening to these gadgets telling us what we need to do. Again, I think the sleep tracking can be really helpful. I don't know about the strain and recovery tracking. And because the strain and recovery is kind of all over the place with the Whoop doing cardio differently and the Oura Ring not being able to track my workouts, I would say that neither of these are must buys. Whoop is a little bit lower barrier to entry because it's $30 a month, I believe. And that is gonna be way less than your $300 for Oura Ring, but they always get you by having to buy a subscription, by having to buy 6 months at a time. And I don't think that you need to be wearing this for 6 months at a time. So you can absolutely give it a try. But once again, I'm finding that these 2 fitness gadgets are not necessary for us to be healthy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this review of the Whoop and Oura Ring. And just know that the Whoop is coming out with a version 4, coming out maybe in a couple months. They announced it. They're having like huge back orders, huge delays. So when that comes out, I'll give you another review video of the Whoop 4. But until then, I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you will subscribe to my channel and let me know what product you would like me to review next time. Have a great day.